Hey everybody, it's Wednesday here at the national headquarters. I know that because today's taco day at the Greasy Pickle, so that's how us retirees keep track of time where the specials are during the week. So me and Jeff will probably do tacos for lunch. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I got going on here, talk about what we've got happening here in the shop, what's not happening here in the shop, and some tips on Lexan windows. So here goes nothing. As you can see, Willys is up on the lift. It's pretty high. We've just been putting the front end together, and that's the one thing about these cars. They're really narrow, so to get all that stuff to fit, man, this is a bear. You know, you got to get the steering to run through all the parts and pieces to line up, and the brake lines to fit and go in where they gotta go, and nothing to rub and nothing to hit. If this car had parallel leaf springs and a straight axle, this stuff would have been easy, but that wasn't the look that Bill was going for. So we got her down and we got her in. Hopefully everything's okay. Get the AFCO shocks on the front. You all know I love my AFCO shocks. So firewall's in. Sort of hard to tell because everything's so black. We got the firewall in. You can see my tape on there. I do that because I squirted some silicone on the inside to help seal up around those tubes. You know, it leaves a bit of a gap when you build them, but you got to be able to get the tin work in it. So I want to seal as much off as I can. Had to put the slot in up there for the throttle linkage to come through. Just part of life. Brake lines are in it. I mean, I can show you over here. Had to customize the line lock to get it to go. Flipped it over, and you know, to make the lines run and everything. It's a bit of a chore, but we got it. I don't know, we can see up in there. Master cylinders in, RPVs are in. I want to come up with a better setup than what Willwood sends for the fittings for the master cylinder. I got to come up with something better there. I'd like to have had 90s there, but I'm not quite sure how to do that yet, so I'm going to have to do some research. I mean, it all worked out good. It's going to be just fine, but 90s would have been better there. So see if I can get out here. You can see I got the pedals installed, throttle pedals up in there now. Our next step is windows. Up in that hole there, you know, we got to get the rear windows in this car so I can finish the tin work and put the tin work in the back. Been a puzzle to say the least, but we got to get all the tin work in it and get some silicone in there, then we can put the wheel tubs in. Jeff has started assembling the parachute releases up in there and the emergency shut off. Usually I do on these cars, I'll do a fuel shut off if it's running injection or something up there, but we just put the shut off for the master disconnect in the back up there. So come around this way. Yeah, we got all this stuff done. And here's the funny part. We looked and looked and looked. We made this rod and we had it chromed. We couldn't find it anywhere. So Jeff assembled everything, got it all put together. And then when we were done yesterday, yeah, we found it. So he's gonna swap that out this morning. I mean, as you can see, I have those arms made right there to take off the lever off the disconnect, get all that stuff lined up, and use like a single line clamp there. Those come from ProWorks. So brake lines are here. You can see I've got them run. They're back this way. I typically run all AN fittings on the back. I'll run like a 90 here to go out to the wheel. Come across the cross member, or that's a T, and then a 90 on this side to go out to the wheel. So then it gets all AN hoses. Windows, show you this. These are already painted. But what I do is I'll put that window up in the car, we Cleco it in, and then I'll draw around the margin on the inside where the window fastens in with a black magic marker, and then I cut that with a razor knife. If you look right there, you can see the line. I cut that with a razor knife, then I peel that piece off, and then I paint it the satin black so that you can't see that painted piece from the inside when you're done. Dresses the windows up, makes them look real good. I mean, and I've got the plastic peeled off this one so you can see. Leaves a nice edge, you know, keeps you from seeing, because dirt will get between here. There's no doubt between the Lexan and the body, and you can't get it out. So if you paint the edge, it sort of hides that and dresses it up. But like I say, we're going to try to get the rear windows in today and get the tin work finished in the back. Jeff's going to work on some of the other odds and ends while I'm doing that. He's got to help me put the windows in because it's a two-man operation. And then he's going to try to get the Christmas present and the transmission bolted together today, I think. I've got a dash over there I got to redo for Rocky. I got to have room to do it though, that's a problem. With all this stuff in here. Half-baked still sitting here. Like I say, she's going in the back room. I'm going to do, hopefully this winter, once the truck's done, I can do door skins and rebuild the doors, get better glass in it, all that stuff. I want to at least get that far this summer. Got to pull the trans out because it won't go in reverse right. And have Jeff look at that for me, hopefully fix that. You know, and as you can see, this is why I got no room to cut aluminum, because all this stuff's in the way. It's got to be bolted in the car. We got parts everywhere. Tin work to do. Hopefully by Friday we got a bunch done. So that's what's happening out in this part of the shop. And I'll come back here and show you what I got going on, because I ain't smart enough to leave shit alone. I got the truck to this point. Firewall sanded and primed. I had spots in the window openings that were rusty. I couldn't leave that alone, so I sanded them out. It's all masked off. I'm going to paint them yellow. I'm just going to try to come up with a color to match. I got the dashboards all in primer, so I got to block sand that so it's ready to paint. And something to remember too, when you're doing this kind of stuff, so you're painting a dashboard in your car, you got to back mask everything, so when you're spraying paint, it's not blowing dirt out of that area into the paint job. So I'll put masking tape on all those openings when I paint this. Then the floors are done. I got them seam sealed. Tech tip here, okay? Seam sealer is expensive as hell. This is construction adhesive. This is my vehicle, and I know that, you know, this stuff works just as well. So yeah, I just use construction adhesive, glue the crack shut, and I'll put like Dynamat or some sort of insulation in here to seal this up. Then in the back, had like undercoating in there. I scraped all that out last night. I'm going to sand that and I'll paint it up to here because I want to put Dynaliner in there to help keep the noise down in this truck. So I'm going to try to dress this stuff up a little bit. I'm trying to leave it alone. I'm building a shop truck, you know. I don't want it crappy, but I'm eventually going to put independent front suspension in it, lower it and all that stuff. So I'm going to spray the frame rails. I want the firewall nice, cleaning up the motor, you know, all that kind of crap. Doors got to close, be semi-airtight. Bought a really good heater for it, so yeah. But I just want a nice interior. I want to be able to drive it. None of the gauges worked in it. You know, it had some Chinese stuff cobbled up in the dash. It had a big hole hacked in it, and I know you guys saw all that. So I welded that shut. I put just enough stuff in there, you know, ignition switch, lights, wipers. That's all it needs. I'm not putting a radio in it. If I do, I'll probably put it under the seat like a remote. I won't get too carried away there. Then eventually I'm going to put a panel back in here because I know it had one at one time. I'll probably cut me a piece of like 1/4 inch Luan or something and wrap it in some sort of vinyl to seal that up. So that's what we got going on. This kind of stuff, this is what I use. I use Rust-Oleum, and then I use, like, this is Crossfire acrylic enamel hardener. Put hardener in it like 4-to-1 and makes it, you know, hold up extremely well. So you gotta sand everything, you know that. Gotta have a chemical or a mechanical etch there so paint will stick. So I'll come in here with Scotch-Brite now and Scotch-Brite all this stuff. Get that painted black this evening probably. Then Friday I'm gonna go over to Muncie and get me some paint. Motor's still here. I've not touched it yet, but I won't until it's done. Jeff just showed up, so things are gonna start happening. Like I say, we got a pile full of stuff here, and of course I have to order all the plumbing parts yet, but we're gonna try to pick through this today and get a bunch mounted. And you know, like I say, tin work's the key today in the rear window, so that's what we got going on. The truck's setting. I got to do the bed and the fuel cell next, but as you can see, we're using it as a shelf right now, so it's going to have to wait for the bed to show up next week sometime. I'll probably put half baked outside and let it set until I can get it in the back room, but it won't hurt it. I mean, it's, you know, I think the paint job will live through a couple rains, maybe a little snow, who knows. So okay, everybody, thanks for watching. See ya.